Scarlet Harvest is a retro sci-fi shooter I'm making in the Easy FPS Editor game engine. We've already looked at how I used my 3D modelling skills to create weapons, enemies and decorations for the game, and how I strive to make interesting combat encounters. But I knew I also wanted Scarlet Harvest to be emotionally engaging, and that meant writing a compelling character the player could interact with. In this video, I'll break down how I used AI tools to create the character of Riva, and how I took my first steps into scripting in Easy FPS Editor to bring her to life. It's become a bit of a running theme in my games to have a quest giver character speaking in your ear.
It looks as if there's some kind of obstruction in the elevator shaft.
The whole Pashnar region is under the control of the Shah.
Okay, now meet me in the projection room upstairs.
I do love a good radio message, it seems. But for Scarlet Harvest, I wanted the player to form a much deeper emotional attachment to this omnipotent voice. The very first sketch I did for Scarlet Harvest was of Riva, a snarky comms specialist that would guide you through the levels. I based her look on the 80s pop star Sheena Easton.
For your eyes only can see me through the night.
With a touch of Ripley from Alien thrown in for good measure. Initially, I thought I might be able to colorise this sketch and use it in-game, but I'm a bit out of practice drawing faces and it didn't look that great. So I wondered if AI could help. I turned instead to Adobe's Firefly, which has been trained only on images Adobe already own and those already in the public domain. Like most large language model AIs, you just type in what you're looking for and the AI tries to generate images that match those characteristics. By subtly tweaking the language of the prompt and a few optional filter effects, I was able to generate this, infinitely faster than if I'd had to cast an actress, organise a shoot and photograph her for real. Incidentally, I also used Firefly to generate the menu art for the game, as well as this rubble asset. My original intention was to animate Riva's facial expression during comms messages, a bit like in Carmageddon, matching her facial expression to the tone of her speech. Generating a smiley version of Riva was easy with FaceApp, but I had much more difficulty finding a tool capable of generating negative expressions like sadness, shock, fear and anger. That AI-generated face cannot convey the complex emotions that a real actress would. In the final game, I'd look to replace this static artwork with something more dynamic, more animated and more controllable. In my last game, No Sequel for You, I'd experimented with using AI-based text-to-speech apps like ElevenLabs to give my characters unique voices, with mixed results.
Go and get yourself a drink. I've also left something behind the bar for you.
Traditionally, the problem with text-to-speech apps is there's no way to imbue emotion into the generated speech.
Buonasera, signor Rossi. I am a huge fan.
Then I found out about ElevenLabs Voice Changer. Here you can upload clips of yourself reading the lines as you want them, and the app then decodes this into text and resynthesizes it as an AI voice, keeping as much of the original cadence and intonation as it can. Wait, you were part of a recon team? From what I hear, you're lucky to be alive.
Wait, you were part of a recon team? From what I hear, you're lucky to be alive.
It was amazing to me that, as a solo developer sitting in my office, I could voice both my main characters without having to commission voice actors. But you'd never mistake what ElevenLabs generated for real dialogue.
I was with a recon team sent to investigate one of the ships.
It simply cannot convey the emotion professional voice actors would, but it was a useful placeholder. As with most of the sound effects in the game, I deliberately re-exported the dialogue at 11,050 Hz to compress it and make it sound more retro.
The whole place is under lockdown, so you'll need to find a security key.
I'll see what I can do.
I was also taking my first tentative steps into learning Easy FPS Editor's basic scripting language. Scripting has always been something I've struggled with, but with a lot of trial, error, and reading the manual, I managed to get dialogue appearing on top of sprites I made.
Hello? Who is this?
These exchanges are activated through triggers, special zones you place on specific tiles that activate when the player enters them. You can also activate scripts through terminals, which are essentially usable decorations, activated when the player presses the use key. Levels themselves can also run scripts during loading. This is what enabled me to place orange lights where I had fire elements, but is also how some developers place decorations and 3D models in their level. The documentation on EFPSC's scripting language is a little basic, and there aren't many tutorials out there. If you're someone like me for whom coding doesn't come naturally, you could try asking the EFPSC community on Discord. But be aware you're just as likely to get called dyslexic and be told to read the manual as you are to actually get an answer. In fairness, this guy did actually end up solving the problem. With the game contest deadline looming, I really only started to dive into scripting with a week or two to go. I played around a lot with the placement of some lines of dialogue to better pace the development of Rex and Riva's relationship. The goal was to make the player genuinely care for her by the time she's put in danger at the end of level 3. If you're enjoying this video so far, give this video a like, or subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Using AI tools comes with a host of ethical concerns, but my personal view is that AI tools are like any other. They need to be used responsibly and selectively. I'm still in an extremely fluid prototyping phase of my game's development. AI tools allowed me to create placeholders quickly and cheaply, but they'll never be a replacement for bespoke assets created by true artists. I've been surprised and, honestly, heartened by how well received Scarlet Harvest and these devlogs have been. I never expected my cliché little sci-fi side project to generate such interest. Some people have even suggested I put it on Steam. Okay, it's way too early for that, but were I ever to release this game on Steam, and it would take a bit of budget, perhaps in the form of crowdfunding or early access pre-orders, but the first thing I'd do is replace my AI-generated placeholders with real commissioned assets. But like I said, we're still a long way off that yet. I'm excited to see where EFPSC develops from here. But more than that, I'm enjoying game dev again, after more than a year where I wasn't. I put that squarely down to how fun this little engine is to use. So, if you're interested in game development, I encourage you to give it a shot. And if you haven't played version 1 of Scarlet Harvest yet, check out the itch.io link in the description. I hope to share more progress with you soon. Thanks for watching.